and welcome to Wednesday's Talking Reds in association with Tokyo Time. My name is Mo Stewart, and I'm pleased to announce that Big Bobby G is back.
Yes, I am back, Mark.
Actually,
for the 1 week hiatus.
Before I say I'm pleased, are you sure that you're not ill anymore? Is the virus all gone?
It's all gone. It was like a 24-hour nightmare job.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost a lot of... you found out how much fluid the human body is made of, the hard way. But anyway, moving on to Reds news.
Oh my God. Literally 30 seconds in, we're talking about Rob's fluids. This is what Wednesdays are all about, though, especially in the international break. But I'm pleased to tell you, international break is officially over. The last games were happening last night. All of our lads, as it stands, came back injury-free. And some of them actually came back with a bit more confidence, having scored a few goals. One of who didn't, unfortunately, so he played last night. I watched the game. Bobby Firmino.
Half-time he came off.
He came off at half-time. He didn't have a good game. He genuinely looked a little bit lacking of sharpness, missed a couple of good chances again, which brings into focus his position, because someone who has had a very good international week is Solanke. Yes, he's been playing for the under-21s, but he scored 4 goals in 2 games, 2 consecutive braces, including a goal, the backheel chip over the keeper, which I'm assuming as you've all seen because it's gone absolutely viral. Now, we've not seen him this season at all. He's dropped to the bottom of the pecking order.
Yeah.
But we do have this intense run of games coming up, and we do have a central striker who still looks a little bit off form. Do you see Solanke working his way into the team, whether it's from the bench or whether maybe even starting a few games?
We saw the Klopp considered he has... I think we've quietly got a mini striker crisis in terms of the central striker. This doesn't include Mo Salah playing through the middle.
Okay.
It doesn't include the fact that Mane still can do bits in attacking positions. But I think with our theoretical number 9, we've got a problem. Bobby's been out of form for much of the season. Sturridge has got some goals, but I don't think he gives us the 90-minute performances we need. No. He doesn't run opposition defences ragged in the way our style requires. The sign of the crisis was that Origi got minutes a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago against Red Star, and I think Solanke should have looked at that and I thought, if he can get 10 minutes, I can get them and I can do more. One thing we saw from Solanke last season, you told me before, he's 27 appearances technically last series. A lot of football quietly. One thing we did see is work rate. And I think amongst everything else, I think Klopp would like to see some work rate back.
I think that's a really good point, actually. And when you think about where he is in his development, so many good coaches from both Chelsea's youth team, our youth team, the England youth team, have all been glowing in praise about him. And we've seen in flashes of what he can do. It's just when it's stepped up to that Premier League level, he's found it that little bit tougher. But you look, I mean, there was a really good piece on our Anfield Wrap website written by David Seeger about Solanke a couple of days ago, just before he scored his latest brace. And in that, he makes a comparison with Harry Kane, someone who'd gone out on loan, who developed really late as a striker. But again, he was someone who all the coaches said, you could see the player in there, he just needed to come out. So do we think this could be his coming out party?
Klopp will be saying to him, I had a kid on my books called Bobby Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Who was a similar trajectory to Kane, I think, in a certain sense. And I think he'll say to him, you've got all the tools. I mean, even though under-21 level isn't the highest level, no, it's still a decent level. And if you can show that kind of technique, you can show that kind of return rate with goals to games, shows you're a footballer. It's then the rest is mental as to whether you can translate it.
And attitude is something that he hasn't really found wanting on. Every report I've heard from him said that he's happy, well, as happy as you can be in that situation. He's ready to knuckle down. He trusts Klopp. He trusts the fact that there are evidence of other young players who have been given their chance once they've proved themselves. So he trusts that if he puts the work in, he will get that chance. The interesting thing for me, though, is when we get to the Christmas period, because obviously that's a really intense run of games, so we're going to be looking to see more and more people. But the other side of that, we've still got the spectre of Rhian Brewster to come back, who, from all reports we've heard, is pretty much going to be guaranteed that he's going to get some minutes.
We haven't had much update on how near he is to kicking a ball competitively.
We've not seen that, no, granted, but we've also not heard that there's been any setbacks. And long term, I think January was the time that he had himself had earmarked, at least. So do you see maybe Solanke has going to get a few appearances in this Christmas period with a view to maybe putting himself in the loan window to maybe go out on January?
I don't think Solanke's going anywhere in January, Mo. I think Brewster will not hit the ground running after being out for so long. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't see him playing even regular under-23 football till March or a bit later than that.
Really?
I think Origi's the one who is going to be desperate to get out of Dodge. So he's the first to go on the loan moves. Solanke, as you said, he'll be looking at the Christmas busy schedule. Klopp will be telling him, be patient, be patient. Those who are patient in my squad tend to get their reward. We're seeing it beginning to happen with Shaqiri, Robertson and Chamberlain last season. So I think he'll see that. He's a hard-running, hard-working striker. I think he may get his chance.
Well, I hope you're right, and let's hope that he can start to really put his influence in that period, because we're going to need everyone over that course of time. Now, I want to transition to another one of our young guns, Mr. Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's officially made the final shortlist for the FIFA Golden Boy Award. It's the final 5 that involves Vinicius Jr. of Real Madrid, Patrick Cutrone of AC Milan, Justin Kluivert of Roma, and Matthijs de Ligt, who plays for Ajax.
Alongside Virgil, yeah.
Alongside Virgil.
Oh, sorry, for the Dutch national team, yeah.
Yes. Now, obviously, those are 5 very good young players, but I really think Trent's got a chance of winning this, you know. He's the only one of the 5 who was at the World Cup. He's the only one of the 5 who's played at the Champions League final. And yes, you can say de Ligt might be the hot boy in the transfer market. Vinicius Jr. is playing for Real Madrid, Cutrone is a striker, so they tend to be weighted. But I genuinely think that this one could be for Trent.
It should be. I think you've rightly said he's played at the highest level of all of them. And I think he's probably had more minutes at the highest level of all of them, possibly. But de Ligt's been playing in the Eredivisie.
Yes.
How do you say that?
And Kluivert's only just moved to Roma, because he was as well.
The Brazilian Vinicius thingy,
Vinicius.
to be technical about
Vinicius thingy.
At Real Madrid.
Yeah,
One day we'll know your name properly.
He's not got a lot of minutes so far from Real.
No, so, yeah, logic says it's Trent. I can't help feel that some dastardly deed with those powers that be that'll never give the likes of Trent the likes of an English Liverpool player.
I don't know though. I think if you think about it from the perspective of FIFA wanting to make a story, then his is a really good story, because obviously you've got the local element, which, by the way, Patrick Cutrone does also have, because he's a Milanello through and through. And I think personally, those are the 2 that I would be picking between, because the thing with Cutrone is he has made a lot of impact, and when you're scoring goals and you're winning games and gaining points for your team, those are the kind of things that can weight these kind of things. But in terms of performance level, in terms of, say, like the height of his performance level, the elite nature that he's working at for such a long time, I think that Trent is the best young player in this in the world at this point, and I think that he should be rewarded as such.
That's a hell of a interesting shout, that, actually. I've never thought about. You think about the award, but actually, is he the best 19-year-old in the world at the moment? Maybe. He's certainly got a long way to go.
Yes.
But, I mean, I'm adamant that he has to move to midfield at some point.
You really think so?
I think he's a really good right back, but you look at someone like Wan-Bissaka at Crystal Palace, and he reminds me of Rob Jones, and you go, if you're going to be world-class in that position and you're going to evolve into it, I think you've got to show more of that defensive instinct. I think Trent's a midfield player. He was in all Liverpool's junior teams. He was never a fullback.
Granted, that is true, but one example I would give would be Ashley Cole, who became the lockdown defender after he'd already become the attacking threat. So it is possible for him to develop that nature. And I think that
he was a natural fullback from the youth team.
He was, but he was more seen as an attacking threat. The defensive side of his game, even when he was playing for England, was questioned for quite some time.
Yeah.
He developed that, again, through playing alongside elite defenders, much like Trent has, and hopefully will continue to do over the course of his Liverpool career. So, as much as I think that's true, I think that there are a lot of people within the club who also see him as a midfielder. I wouldn't rule him out being a fantastic fullback for years to come. And I mean, let's face it, we don't have to try and buy another one, do we?
No, it'd be an amazing fix, wouldn't it, for a position?
Yes. Now, as you can tell, I mentioned earlier on, we are in association with Tokyo Time, so it's probably about time we told you a little bit more about them.
Tokyo Time is sponsoring Talking Reds for Wednesdays for the foreseeable future, which were made up about. They're a Liverpool company. They're trying to do things differently. They're trying to do things better, a bit like the Anfield Wrap. And so they've set up only recently, but already got a lot of traction for kind of what they want to do. They helped us out in America. They gave us hats to wear over there, and very much needed they were in that bacon sun next to the pitch watching the Liverpool boys train. So yeah, since then they've come in, they've asked us about doing something a little bit more formal. So that's what we're going to do. So they're going to be sponsoring Wednesdays on the Talking Reds for the foreseeable future. If you're into your baseball caps, you're into your street style, or you know anyone else who is, or you're looking for presents to buy for people, do check out their website. It's tokyotime.co.uk, or follow them on Instagram. They've got loads of styles, something for everyone, and the fit is really, really good. So yeah, cheers to the boys for supporting us. They're supporting us, so do try and support them, tokyotime.co.uk.
Okay, so we mentioned earlier on in the show that Liverpool came through the international break unscathed. It would be remiss of us not to mention the fact that a team who very much is on our horizon did not come through unscathed. I'm talking about PSG. Both Neymar and Mbappe were forced off injured in their international games over the week, both with injuries that looked like they could be kind of serious. I mean, Neymar, he was holding his groin, those kind of... Go on, let it out, let it out.
I was just thinking of a smutty joke.
Oh, no, I don't...
If he doesn't play, I'll be holding my groin.
Oh, God.
Ah, don't judge me. You will, on the comments. Go on.
Yes, everyone
Yeah,
judges
they
you. But so, yes, Neymar's groin is injured, but he genuinely did look in discomfort. It wasn't one of those where it seemed we'll just take him off as a precaution. And Mbappe, his injury was one of the shoulder. He fell really awkwardly. Now, obviously, us here at Liverpool know all about shoulder injuries and how long they can take to recover.
We do.
So there is a real chance that the two of them might be both missing for that game. And while I think it would be dangerous to say that that means that we're favourites or anything, I think we can't underestimate how important or how much of a boost it could give us in terms of our belief going away to Paris and getting a result.
Yeah, if they're ruled out, and you can't help but feel that the news will be left on tenterhooks about it till the 11th hour, people say there are smoke screens this and smoke screens that. But if that team news breaks an hour before kickoff, that those two are out and that we're at full strength, it will give a massive psychological lift to our dressing room and a belief that we can go and beat them in their own patch. And that would qualify us. It'd be a huge thing. As it stands now, I think to a degree, in the back of the minds of some of the fans, we're planning if we lose, and we'll go and do the job against Napoli. But that would be a massive game changer. Obviously, you don't want to see two fantastic world-class footballers out. That would be awful.
Sorry,
start again.
See, this is the thing. I genuinely do believe that. I know that we're playing against them, but when you consider the way that Mbappe's been playing this season, he's been an absolute joy to watch.
Joy to watch.
And
don't want to see it again.
As much as I was would have been happy for him to have an absolute stinker against us, I still would have preferred to him to be on the pitch and us beat them fair and square. But I guess that's just me, isn't it?
Don't mind if he hobbles around ineffectively on the pitch. Can we compromise on that as not being inhumane? Yeah.
You're an absolute dog, Rob.
I'm a terrible human being. Thank you.
Honestly, no.
Say don't ever change.
I was about to say don't ever change.
Okay, I won't.
See, we're on. I tell you, you're away for 1 week and it's like we never left.
On that bombshell.
I know. So coming up also today on the Anfield Wrap, we've got a couple of shows, one of which I hosted and one of which you hosted.
Behind our subscription service, mate.
Yes, our subscription
service. It's incredible
service.
value.
It's really, really good value. So tell us about your show, The Overview.
My show, which costs you about 17p if you subscribe. The Overview show is a good show because we look at like a batch of games coming up. Think like the manager does, plan ahead like the manager does. We're looking at the 8 games between effectively this weekend and Christmas. Liverpool have got 6 in the league, 2 in the Champions League. They could be defining for the season.
They really could.
So we've sort of looked at the rotational issues that Klopp will face, we've looked at the quality of the opposition, and we look at who our opponents are facing as well, and we try to sort of crystal ball gaze and see who might be top come Christmas. You'll only find out if you listen in.
Indeed.
Or subscribe.
As for my show, I should probably point out I didn't actually host it. It shows Emilia did such a great job and made me feel like I was in charge. But it was a fantastic show. I really enjoyed it. We got into some really good... I'm not going to give too much away. We got into some good subjects. It's the typical wild cards flair. So it's Liverpool past, present, and future, and the general football and the general wild card.
That's a great show, that.
It is. It's one of my favourites to do, and it's well worth a listen. There's also been Ban This Filth that came out a couple of days ago, which again is always worth a listen. For those of you who have listened to it, I can't believe Millwall didn't get a mention in the Championship team to ban from being live. But anyway, that's just me. But yeah, listen to it for yourself. As Rob says, £5 a month. You get so much value out of us. We don't even really have to promote it that much anymore. We just know.
We just know.
There. And hopefully you've enjoyed this show and you'll be enjoying the one tomorrow with Kopi and I'm not sure who else is on tomorrow.
Klopp? No, Kopi. Let's say it's Kopi and Klopp.
Yeah, let's say it's Kopi and Klopp. See you next week.